Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit. And in this video, I want to talk to you about how to make money with used board games. So if you're a reseller and you're going to thrift stores, auctions, garage sales, maybe you're sourcing off a Facebook marketplace, you need to make sure that you're on the lookout for board games. Board games sell for a lot of money. Now, of course, look for board games that are brand new sealed. They go for a big premium, similar to DVDs. But what about used board games? Can you make money with used board games? Absolutely. And in this video, I want to share with you 10 used board game titles that you could be on the lookout for. Now, remember, a used board game will still sell if it's missing pieces, but it's going to sell for the best if it's 100% complete. If it comes with the original box, if all the pieces are accounted for, if the instructions are there. So there are some downsides to dealing with used board games. You have to take the time to make sure that it's complete, but used board games can sell for a lot of money. And the reason why is because the new board games that are 100% sealed, especially some of these old titles from the 90s, 2000s, even 4 or 5 years ago, the sealed board games are so hard to come across that they go for such a high premium. A lot of these board games will go for 80, 100, 200 bucks, sometimes even more. I'm going to share with you a board game that I sold recently for over 300 bucks. And I mean, not everybody has that type of money. So you'll have to pay 60, 70, 80 bucks to get it used. So let's go through some of these titles. I sell a lot of my board games on Amazon, but these things sell extremely well on eBay as well. On Amazon, a lot of these board games aren't going to be restricted or gated, so you can sell these on Amazon FBA as well. So without further ado, let's dive into this video and be sure to show some love and smash that like button before we get into it. All right, so here's a board game. If you don't know about this board game, you have to be on the lookout for it. Now, it's going to be hard to come across. It's rare. I've probably flipped 5 or 6 of these over the last 7 years. But the creator is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He wrote one of the most popular books of all time in the finance sector. And this is a board game that it's kind of like the Monopoly board game on steroids. This is a board game that teaches you different financial tips and tricks, how to be a savvy investor. It's a really cool board game. It's called Cash Flow. Now there's Cash Flow for kids. There's the Cash Flow for adults. There's different variations and whatnot. And this one sold for $43.88. A lot of these will sell for 50, 60 bucks used. This one is incomplete, as you can see right here. But this, I mean, if you want to teach your kids financial literacy, or maybe you just want to learn for yourself, check out this board game. This is a really, really cool board game. Next up is a board game, The Game of Life. Now, there's a bunch of different variations and whatnot. This one's actually Star Wars, a Jedi's Path. And these sell consistently used for $25 to $45. Now, this sold for a best offer under $45. As you can see in the description, 100% complete. This is from 2002. This is a great board game. I actually sold this board game recently for over $130 on Amazon FBA, new sealed. I had sourced it off Facebook Marketplace for, I think, 35 or 40 bucks. So I ended up making 40 or 50 bucks profit. So of course, if you can find these new sealed, even better, but this sells excellent used. Next up, we have a very hard to come across board game. I actually picked one of these recently. I posted on my Instagram. And these things sell for hotcakes now, new sealed, but also used 60, 80, 100, 120 bucks used for the Pokemon Master Trainer board game. Now, there's a bunch of different variations when it comes to Pokemon board games, and you want to pick them pretty much all up. Pokemon has gone crazy recently. It's popular. I mean, people are reliving their childhood, the nostalgia around it. I mean, Pokemon board games can sell for really good money. This one sold for around 126 US dollars, 1999 Master Trainer game. Be on the lookout for Pokemon. If you go into eBay and you type in Pokemon board game, the Yahtzee Junior is really good. This Monopoly version does well. This is another popular Monopoly version. The Master Trainer is like pretty much the best one, but there's different ones. You know, there's a Sorry version. There's all different types of versions. This Yahtzee Junior does very well used. I've actually sold that before. You can find that at thrift stores for $1 or $2. So really good money. Now, speaking of Monopoly, there's a bunch of different variations of Monopoly games that are themed out. This one's themed around My Little Pony that can make really good money. This sold for $39.99 used. Now, again, it is 100% complete. So make sure if you're going to deal with board games, if you want to get that top-notch dollar, Make sure it's complete. A quick tip for you is typically in the box, there will be a content manual that will tell you all the pieces that are supposed to come in it. Look that through, make sure all the pieces are there. And if so, really good money. This sold for $39.99 right here with $21.50 shipping. Super Scrabble. This is a great game. I just learned about this one recently. I've always been flipping Scrabble, but I didn't realize how valuable the Super Scrabble games are. Now, these are a bit bigger and longer. So if you sell this on Amazon, it is going to be oversized. But this thing new is selling for a couple $100 right here pretty consistently. But used, you can sell these things for 35, 45, 50, 60 if everything is in there complete. So if you go here and you type in Super Scrabble, you'll see that these things are selling all over the place. Let's go down to sold listings. There's a bunch of different versions as well. 94, 34, 39, 109, 27, 40, 95, 40. So I'm not making this stuff up, guys. This stuff is out there and it's for the taking. Now, here's a really, really interesting Hasbro game. I've been flipping this game for years, and this is actually the game that I sold for over $300 recently, brand new on Amazon. And this is Hasbro Risk, but this isn't just any normal Risk. This is the 40th anniversary collector's edition. So if you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know that I love this game. I've talked about it multiple times. You could source this on Facebook. You could source this on eBay and flip it back on eBay, flip it on Amazon, flip it on Facebook Marketplace. There's a big, big, big audience that is looking into this, this item. Now, it's not going to sell like instantly, but a lot of times if I pick this item up and I put it on my Amazon store, it'll sell within a month or two and for a pretty good premium if I pick it at the right price. Goosebumps. We all know about the Goosebumps book, but also the Goosebumps board game can sell for really good money. This sold for a best offer under $55. Now, a lot of this stuff, again, is going to be from the 90s. Crazy colors, crazy artwork. A lot of the action games do well, but this Goosebumps one in particular sells really well. And this isn't even complete. If this was complete, it probably would have sold for 60 or 70 bucks. Speaking of Risk, here's another Risk board game that sold for $44.95. This is the Trilogy Edition right here. This item is 100% complete, $44 plus shipping. Look at that. That's beautiful. There's so much money to be made in board games, guys. You got to be looking out for them. Here's another Risk board game. If you could see a common pattern, I love selling Risk. This game I probably sold like 30 times over the last 8 or 9 years. It's the Lord of the Rings. I found these things at garage sales. I found them at thrift stores. I've sourced them on eBay. I've sourced them on Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of money to be made with the Lord of the Rings board game. Now, there is a ring that is supposed to come with it, so make sure it's in there. If not, it's really going to hurt the value. But this item used 20, 30, 40 bucks all day long, new, typically around 100 bucks or more. The value of this thing's actually been going up quite a bit over the last couple of years. And last but not least is a board game called Moods. Now, I've actually just started flipping this recently. I just learned about it, and this thing sells well. On eBay, 30, 40 bucks. I'm pulling out my Amazon app. I want to see what this is going for new on Amazon FBA. So I'm scanning it with my phone. So this thing brand new on Amazon, can you guys guess? $135. It's selling for about $35 used on Amazon. Pretty similar with eBay. But if you find this thing new, big, big money. And I'm curious if I can source this right now. Moods 2000 board game. Let's see if anybody's selling this new. Let's go to, I like to source new and then US only. Here's somebody selling it for $49.94. So if I sold this for $135, Amazon would give me $109. So I probably wouldn't want to spend any more than like maybe 50 or 60 bucks without doing research on Keepa. One thing that you can always do is you could actually send them a message. You can contact the seller and say, hey, would you take, $40 because you're going to have shipping and then tax. I'm actually trying to get my tax exemption right now, so I don't have to pay tax anymore on items I flip. But I'm going down a rabbit hole, but there's so much money to be made with board games, guys. Used, new. I talk about this all the time. Be on the lookout at thrift stores, garage sales, auctions, estate sales, Facebook Marketplace, flea markets. I love selling board games, and I think they're only going to get more and more popular. I would honestly say, and I'm just kind of pulling this out of my you-know-what right now, but I would say like probably in the next like 15, 20 years, I bet you a lot of these games, the Boulder Dashes, the Pictionaries, the Lego board games, all those things, if you have those things brand new sealed, I bet you those board games are going to pop off in the next 15 or 20 years, because those things are only going to get more and more opened. There's going to be less and less sealed. There's going to be less and less used board games that are 100% complete. Like, especially that Risk 40th edition, anniversary edition. I bet you that thing's going to be going for over $1,000 in the next like 5-10 years. I wouldn't be surprised. But hey, this isn't financial advice. But if you enjoyed this video, guys, smash that like button. Go out there, find these items, pick them, flip them, and keep on picking and making that money. Much love. See you in the next video.